Hey guys, it's me, Dax, coming at you live and direct with another of our Enlightened Coach kind of Ask Dax series. Liam Sheriff has posted in the tribe quite a long question post, but I'll see if I can kind of summarize the gist of it. Dax, just speaking a bit of a late night, early morning conversation, wondering if you have any tips or advice for when you're trying to enlighten someone you're working with to your principles and your beliefs and ideas, that you have evidence that work time and time again, but despite your best efforts, they're seemingly unenlightenable. New word, he says. Just interested because although 90% of my clients I feel see me as their guru, there's one client I coach right now, as I'm sure we've all had before, that no matter what I say or explain about their body, their health, they've always got a reason why not to follow my advice, or they're all too happy to squash it before they've even tried it, or simply try something completely different. I've spent a lot of time looking at the why behind my methodologies, talking through why other approaches haven't worked for her before, and basically agreeing on almost every part of it, yet irrespective of the conversation, it always ends up with her knowing better than to fully adopt my advice and dismissing much of what's just been covered. What's even more bizarre is she just signed up and paid me $5,000 for a big package of personal training and has been a client on and off for around 3 years now. Okay, so yeah, really, it's actually a really, really good question when you think about it, right? Kind of, I'm sure a lot of people feel in the same situation where they're being paid by their clients for a service and it feels like the client is ignorant of the advice that they're giving them, okay? Ignorant of the advice. So here's a couple of, I'm just flicking up a screen because there's quite a lot to that post, so I've got some notes here, right? So the first thing to take into account here is that, you know, how do I enlighten a client? And obviously we're the Enlightened Coach group, but how do I enlighten a client? Well, I don't know if you remember from the magazine, the very first issue of the Enlightened Coach magazine, but I talk about enlightenment as simply being the case of knowing that you are already enough, knowing that you have everything within you, right? One of the ways I like to describe enlightenment, certainly describe my belief, my message to the world essentially, is that you don't have to be more than you are, you just have to be all that you are. And I believe that it's a coach's role to essentially help people realize that they are already enough, right? But we're encouraging them to be all that they are. So the first thing there is that enlightenment is an inside job, okay? Enlightenment is an inside job. It's not something that I do to you, for you, or even with you. It's something that I do that causes you to create a new series of mental images and connections in your brain that makes that metaphorical light bulb go off. I get it now. That eureka moment, right? So enlightenment is an inside job. Now, from a brain science perspective, now if we kind of turn this into neuroscience, it's about a process of what's called neuroassociation. Okay, neuroassociation. So learning doesn't happen in an environment all by itself, right? Learning happens in a previously experienced environment, right? So think of it like a bridge. You've got you want to get from one riverbank to the other. And the very, very first thing that has to happen is that you have to call in the bridge builders and actually ask them to deliver all the spans of the bridge. Now, imagine if you just took one piece of bridge, dumped it here, and you took another piece of bridge, dumped it there, and another piece of bridge, dumped it over here. Right? It wouldn't make sense. You'd never be able to cross the river, right? So what do? We take one piece and we connect it to the riverbank. What do we do next? We take the next piece and connect it to the first piece, which was connected to the riverbank. And what do we do next? We take the second piece, which connects to the first piece, which connects to the riverbank, and so on and so forth until we've crossed the journey. Well, that's how the brain actually learns. The brain actually learns through neuroassociation. So it kind of says, what do I already know? And how does this new piece of information fit into what I already know, or what I already think, or what I already believe? And so just realize this, enlightenment is about creating new neuroassociations, new pieces of information that dovetail neatly on to the previous piece of the bridge. So if you want to meet a person in their journey, like one of the best ways to have them shut down or do something completely in opposition to what they said their goal was, or their dream was, or their most desired outcome was, however you want to express this, if they're doing things in opposition to it, it simply means that you've brought a new bridge span in this case, a new piece of data, a new piece of information, which doesn't seem to fit with the previous piece of bridge, with the previous information, with the previous belief, with the previous experience. Excuse me. So the real magic, the real skill of being a masterful coach is in bringing the new piece of the bridge into play in such a way that it connects with what the person already believes, already sees, already experiences. And so it's going to be very difficult for me to answer in a video like this exactly what you should be saying to your client, but certainly tying in with the client's previous experiences is the most important work you can do. And likewise, moving forward and moving forward and moving forward, reconnecting piece of bridge after piece of bridge after piece of bridge, so that those neuro associations become permanent and fixed. Or as you could say, permanent as in they're only moving forward, they're not regressing, they're not kind of breaking down each time. Whenever we're working with a client on their beliefs, really that's all we're ever doing. We're bolting pieces of bridge together. Okay, so I'm going to end this video at that point because I've already been gone on for about 6 minutes, and then I'll come back and I'll answer the next part of the story. Okay, take care.